Hello, I'm David DeCosmo. Welcome to ECTV Live. I'm joined by my co-host, Rusty Fender. Rusty, welcome.
Hey, good to see you, Dave.
Good to see you, my friend. We had a little bit of a stumbling block last week, so we took a brief week off, at least part of the week
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly, yeah.
And but it's glad I'm
glad everything's back to normal now. I like normalcy.
Normal is good. Normal is good. Our guest today is Margie Young from the Wyoming County Cultural Center, better known to most of you as the Dietrich Theater. And the Dietrich Theater is a big attraction not only for the community of Wyoming in which it's located, but for people here in Lackawanna County as well as Luzerne. And as we spoke briefly before we went on the air, I know some folks from Luzerne County, and I'm sure from Lackawanna, who are always there in December when you offer free showings of the movie It's a Wonderful Life. You folks have been doing that for many years now.
It's been about 15.
Wow.
Yeah, 15 years. And everything's free on that date. It's usually about 2 weeks before Christmas. And the movie is free, It's a Wonderful Life. The popcorn is free,
right.
The soda's free, and we even have cookies.
Wow, wow. I know I look forward to that myself. I enjoy coming up there. And as we talked before going on the air, nothing like seeing something on the big screen.
I do. As a projectionist myself and your father, we certainly agree that the big screen is the way to see a movie.
Absolutely. And how was the turnout this year?
It was the best ever.
Wow.
We were able to accommodate everybody who came, because we have it in more than one theater, we have more than one showing, and everybody was able to come and see it. And you know, it's really a community experience. You know, sometimes a lot of people like to watch movies at home, but once in a while it's really nice to get to the theater and experience a movie with a crowd.
Did you run the black and white version or the colorized?
No, black and white.
Good, because Mark McGlory and I are the original purists. It's like you colorize that, it's like that's off my to-do list forever.
Yeah,
Sure.
really.
And really, going to that has become a Christmas tradition for a lot of families throughout northeastern Pennsylvania.
Very much so. They look forward to it. They sometimes like to sit in particular seats. They have memories of coming to the theater with various relatives and how much it meant to them.
Sure.
So it's a very special experience.
Well, I bring it up not only because it shows the interest from the entire northeastern Pennsylvania area in the theater and the cultural center, but also because I think fairly recently, and I may be wrong about this, you've sort of expanded that in that every so often you offer free movies.
That's right. We have a film favorite series at the Dietrich, and it is sponsored by various businesses or individuals, and it's on Wednesdays. The next one, let's see, I've got to always check that. We've already had one this year, but yeah, and we have one coming up in March, Dirty Dancing.
Oh my goodness!
The 30th anniversary. A dear friend of mine, Krista Merman, and her sister went down to where they filmed it. It was supposed to be in the Catskills, but they filmed it in Lake Lure, North Carolina. And the lake, believe it or not, this is unbelievable, the lake is now gone. They had seismic, you can't write this stuff, they had seismic activity under the lake, and in a couple of days, the entire 80-acre lake drained underground.
So much of the setting is gone.
The original, the Kellerman's is there. Everything, the facade they make a big deal out of where the cabins where Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze stayed. You can still tour everything, the kitchen and all that. If you've seen the movie, it's a great film. But the lake is now nothing but weeds and scrubbo.
Wow.
It's truly a geological phenomenon.
That is a classic movie.
It is.
And again, that'll be in March. You have the date?
Yeah.
That is March 15th, Wednesday, at 1 and at 7.
And here again, that is free.
It's free.
For folks who
30th anniversary this year,
And
87 to 2017.
Right, and then before that, the other movie, and the film favorite in February is on the 22nd, and it's Out of Africa.
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
And Robert Redford?
Robert Redford,
right.
right.
Yes.
Right.
And
That was a big block. That was a blockbuster.
we,
That
Yes,
was.
yeah.
We have that as the film favorite in February because February is Wyoming County Reads in Tunkhannock.
We want to talk about that too, but
Yes.
that's the 22nd of February.
Yes.
And that would also be a 1 o'clock and a 7 o'clock
Right.
showing.
Right.
I understand that while there are current movies at the Dietrich Theater all the time, and of course there's an admission, as there is in every theater, that the Dietrich uses the proceeds not so much to pay for the movies, but to further the civic events and the cultural events throughout the area. And there are just so many of those, and we'll certainly get into them. But as long as we're into February and that free showing, there is also your annual Winter Fest. Now you at the Dietrich, at the Cultural Center, I believe you have 2 movie festivals every year. Is that
Actually,
correct?
now we have 4 every year.
You have 4?
We have 4, yes.
One each season?
One each
Yes,
season.
yes, one each season. We've had the fall and spring film festivals for quite a while.
Yes.
But our executive director, Erica Rogler,
A regular
had
guest
the
here, by the way,
idea,
yes.
along with our booker, Ronnie Harvey, to let's try a winter festival and a summer festival to add to them. And they're a little shorter. They're 2 weeks instead of 3. And when we have an opening night, it's a slightly scaled down version instead of the an elaborate selection of hors d'oeuvres that we have at the spring and at the spring and fall festivals. We have beer, wine, cheese, crackers, fruit, and then in between a signature dessert.
So it's sort of a red carpet opening night for the festivals.
Right. We have one of those for all of our festivals.
That's great. So this the February festival is the 17th through March the 2nd. And how many movies will be?
14 films in
Wow.
14 days.
How do you pick the movies? Because as I look at this, these are not your common movies, if I may put it that way,
Right.
that you just see every day in every theater.
Notice the same thing. Yes.
The Beatles 8 days a week, for instance, our director, Mark McGlory, has actually gone to see that in another venue and is already planning to come and see it at your place. So how do you make the selections for these movies?
Well, the selections are made with our Ronnie Harvey, our movie booker, but he does it in conjunction with our movie buyer in New York, Jeffrey Jacobs. And Jeffrey Jacobs is a specialist in foreign and independent movies.
Oh, okay.
So he's seen them all, he knows all about them, he can recommend them, and then it's ultimately our decision.
But that's the key to getting a little bit of an offbeat instead of a movie that's run into the ground all the time. That's where
Yes.
this comes in. So that's a coup for the theater.
Absolutely. You want to see something that isn't available
Exactly.
just everywhere all
Right.
the time. That
And that
makes it
was-
unique.
Exactly.
That was a goal when we first opened in 2001, to make sure that we also included foreign and independent movies.
Well, again, that's the Winter Festival, Winter Film Festival, February 17th through March the 2nd. Now, for those of you who are interested in, and we're going to go over a few of the events, the programs that are coming up in the Dietrich as the new year gets underway. But I should also remind you that you can get on a mailing list, and you can get this very brochure that I'm holding right now. And this is something that is sort of a guide as to what's happening almost daily, other than the regular movies, which you can check online and see as they change. So as we look into this, and we see the events that are coming up, we see, that the Dietrich Film Festival series, as you mentioned, you already had one in January. January 28th, Hiking Through the Natural Beauty of Pennsylvania. This is a lecture, I guess, Margie?
Well, it's a PowerPoint, it's a slideshow by Jeff Mitchell, who's our district attorney,
Oh,
and
yes.
also our hiking expert. He does a column for our local paper every week. And this is one of the most popular things we have. It's free, 11 o'clock on January 28th, that's a Saturday. And what he has is photos from the many, many hikes that he takes. He projects them on the big movie screen. And people come from all over. Most people don't look like hikers, and they probably are not, but they want to know what's out there, what is this beautiful area that we live in. And he's captured a lot of the beauty.
Oh, that's great. That's 11 a.m. on Saturday, January 28th. And again, it is a free admission event. So whether you're in the Luzerne County area, here in Lackawanna County area, just head to the Dietrich, which, by the way, is right on Route 6, your main east-west route other than Route 80, north of 80. Basically, the route that takes you from Honesdale on the eastern section, heading through the Clark Summit area, right here through Scranton, over to Tunkhannock, and of course beyond that, if you're west of there, you're heading toward Towanda and the Endless Mountain region. So it's an easy place to get to, parking right behind the theater, as I recall.
We're right at the main intersection in Tunkhannock, right at Route 6 and Route 29.
All right. I see an audition notice.
Right.
So you're not only looking for people to come up and enjoy the movies or enjoy something like the special presentations, you're inviting
Right.
would-be thespians.
That's absolutely true. Last year, we had the production of Arsenic and Old Lace.
Oh, that's a
and
classic,
this year,
sure.
Hoyt Kaiser, the director, has chosen George Washington Slept Here, another comedy, another play written by very famous playwrights, George S. Kaufman and Moss Hart.
Right, right.
And we are having auditions on Saturday, January 28th from noon to 5, and also on Sunday from Sunday, January 29th from noon to 5.
Okay, so
And
if
we
you're...
have a telephone number
Yes,
that
go ahead,
people can
sure.
call if they want to audition for one of the parts, and it's 570-466-9407.
And they're looking for women aged 20 to 70, men aged 20 to 70. So might be fun to get involved in. I keep saying that I'm going to get involved in those radio players, and I never have done it because they have a group that gets together and literally reenacts the old-time radio shows. They've got the scripts. They stand in front of a microphone and
That'd be fun to do.
and act out their
Like
parts.
the War of the Worlds when it was
and
Terry
you and
Lane.
I, a microphone's like a magnet.
And we're getting into that demo too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we will fit right in.
Well,
The upper end of the
but
demo.
it's great. And the play that they're going to do is George Washington Slept Here, which, oh boy, Jack Benny, I think, maybe, in a movie back in the 40s.
Yes, it was.
I think you're right.
It was.
Jack Benny, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
anybody can kind of look it up and see what it's all about.
Yeah. On that second day of auditions, January 29th, you're also doing something called Rock and Roll in Art and Music. What is that?
Well, this is huge. It really is, because in the Dietrich we have 3 galleries that can exhibit art. And for the first time, we're using all 3 of them to have art on one topic, and this time it's rock and roll.
Oh my goodness.
And we're working in partnership with the Kitson Art Alliance. Is somebody else you might want to have on sometime.
Yes, yes.
And they were working with artists that depict musicians in rock and roll.
Wow.
And
You might have some memorabilia for that display.
Yeah, I want to find out more about this. That's pretty good.
Yes, right. You might want to just come and see the exhibit, or come on this next Sunday, because it will be not only a display of the art, but live music in one of our theaters.
It better be
And-
rock music if
Yes,
you're going to
it
have
is.
Yeah, better be is right.
Yes, we have the Sparazzo Duo and Bob Zamber. I don't know if you know those artists.
And this is also free admission.
It's free admission, right?
Wow.
And there'll also be a silent auction, door prizes, 2 to 5 on Sunday. Everybody's invited.
Okay, I've always been impressed when I go in underneath the marquee, if we're going to the Dietrich to see a movie, for instance. There's a long hallway that leads to the ticket counter, and on either side of that hallway there's always a fantastic art display, usually a great theme of some sort. And that's, you have this tremendous interest before you even get
That's right.
to
That's
get
right.
your ticket. So that's a wonderful thing.
And I'm glad it came back after the flood. I was there with Erica before the flood hit, like a year or so, when you just had the new addition, the annex built on, and then good to see that it came back after that horrible flood, which was literally in the
a
backyard
lot
of
of
the
work.
theater.
Yeah, a lot of work to
Better
do.
believe
It
it.
was in the theater.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it
Yes,
was this
sure
high
was.
in many of the areas.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also mentioned Wyoming County Reads. Now that is, correct me if I'm wrong, basically you pick one book, you encourage everyone to read that book, and then you have discussions about it. So
Right.
that's a free event, obviously. You participate by reading the book. What is the book this year, and how are you doing the discussions?
Okay. Well, this year we've actually chosen 2 books.
Oh, okay.
And there are 2 books. One of them is much shorter than the other one. And they have many areas in which they can be compared by our discussions. And it's A River Runs Through It by Norman MacLean.
I remember the movie on
And,
that
I
one.
remember the movie on that one too, yeah.
Yeah, a beautiful, beautiful movie. And Out of Africa. And
yes.
one thing that they have in common is a mystical appreciation of nature.
Yes.
And they're both beautiful movies on the screen.
Fabulous scenery. Yeah, that's where the on location
So
scenery.
we like to say that to participate in Wyoming County Reads, you can do it in many ways. You can come to everything, the discussions and the movies, all of which are free. Or if you want to, you can get the idea to read a particular book or both books, or just come and see the movies, because any way you participate, you'll be gaining a lot.
Yes, well, they're both great movies, both great casts. So even if you limit yourself to seeing the movies, you're well ahead, I'm sure.
And we get that funded by our Wyoming County Commissioners.
All right. And let's see, a book discussion February 1st, 7 p.m. of A River Runs Through It.
And that's at the library.
All right. February 8th at 1 and 7 o'clock, A River Runs Through It, the movie will show. February 15th, 7 p.m., A River Runs Through It, book and film comparison. And let's see, February 22nd, 1 p.m., 7 p.m., the movie Out of Africa. And March 1st, 7 p.m., Out of Africa, book and film comparison. That in itself is interesting because I am a movie buff. I have a granddaughter who cannot walk anywhere without a book in her hand and reads constantly. My wife is the same way, with reading constantly. And they keep telling me the books are better than the movies. And I haven't read enough of the books that I've seen the movie to make the comparison.
I've heard that all my life too. I've read literally a handful of books in my life, and that's it. I'm a movie person all the
that's
time,
right.
whether it
So-
loses in the translation or not.
So it's interesting then to have that discussion where you'd be able to sit down and make the
Yes,
comparison.
and see how they
And
differ.
sometimes there's a vast difference. And although I didn't read it, I read about it that one of the very big hits, The Natural, the movie The
I
Natural.
ran that with Robert Redford,
Right.
surprisingly, the baseball movie.
Apparently, the book ending is totally
Exactly, exactly.
different. So I guess
Amazing. You
in that
mentioned that.
case,
I ran
you'd
that at
wanna-
the Ritz here in Scranton.
Yeah,
That was
you'd want to
amazing.
say, "Do I like this one? Do I like that?"
Exactly, exactly.
People who come to the discussions will be talking about things
Oh, I'm
like
sure
that.
they're experts in
Sure.
it too,
Right.
with books.
That's great. All right, you've got more topics than we have time, so let's go over a few of them in laundry list fashion here. Simple natural healing,
Right.
a weight loss seminar. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, Donna Labar is from Tunkhannock, and she has become a certified nutritionist and health presenter, and she has done a lot of work on her own to find out about nutrition. And she has her own story to tell about why she researched it so heavily. The father of a friend had to have his stomach removed,
Oh, my
and she tried to help him discover what he could eat and still thrive, and apparently he lived to be 90-something.
Wow.
So But yes, and simple natural healing, that's exactly what she talks about.
That's a weight loss seminar. That's Saturday, February 11th. It goes from 10 in the morning until noon. Now, there is a donation for that. It's suggested at a $10 donation, but I'm sure that there's it can be a little variable there.
Right.
Can we talk about Out of Africa, the movie? Amadeus.
Yes.
National Theater Live on Screen.
Okay, well, we have had such success bringing in National Theater Live. Let me explain what that is. National Theater Live is an effort to make plays that have been presented in London or New York available to the rest of us who cannot get there to see them. So they are filmed versions of the plays that you would otherwise have to go to New York or London to see. And we didn't know if we'd have an audience for them, but we've discovered we do. And we can expect a nice audience for no matter what we bring in that
So
they
they're
do,
all
because
top-notch
they are
performers.
top-notch. And Amadeus, many people will remember the movie
Yes,
about
yeah.
Mozart. Well, this is the same kind of story about his relationship with the other composer, Salieri.
The controversy.
Right, but it is a film version of the play.
All right.
So you talked about we were talking about Fences earlier,
Yes.
and how it seems a little bit like a play, but this definitely is a play.
All right, and that's February 26th, 2 p.m. That's a Sunday, and Sunday, March 12th at 2 p.m. There's an admission charge for that. March 4th, 11 a.m. That's a Saturday, after-school players performance. That's a local play.
Well, no, it's a written play that the director, Brenda Fager, has chosen for middle school and high school students. This is a free program that we do. It's sponsored by the Overlook Estate Foundation, and it's actually in progress right now. It's begun, and it's middle and high school kids producing a play. Really learning how to do every aspect of a play.
That's wonderful. Sunday, March 5th, 3 p.m., Sullivan's March. Who hasn't gone along Route 6 and seen those historical markers, which you zip by, and you may see a little headline on them, Sullivan's March. So I'm gathering, if you go on Sunday, March 5th at 3 p.m., you're going to find out about Sullivan's March.
Yes, and you're going to find out about it from a wonderful presenter, Ed McMullen, who used to be the curator at the Everhart Museum.
Yes, yes.
And he's an actor, and he always brings in a wonderful audience because of his presentations.
Wow. We mentioned, Dirty Dancing that you've got coming up again. That's free. That's the free series on Wednesday, March 15th. I'm going to skip around here just a little bit.
Open mic night. That's a big draw.
Right.
Yes.
Now, and this one is Friday, March 24th, 7
Right.
o'clock. And that, as I recall from way back when Judge Munley and I first heard about it, was you have any kind of talent, come on in, show it off.
Right. You have to come a little early. If you want to perform, you should come at 6:30 on March 24th. And we have all kinds of entertainers show up, from storytellers to
Poets. I've heard poets.
to musicians,
Yes.
to poets, ventriloquist. We even had a ventriloquist. It's just fun to see what variety we have.
Absolutely. Also, there's various things for children. There's classes for children.
Absolutely.
Tuesday and Thursday. Well, that's, you see, January 10th is gone. March 4th is the next one coming up. After school players, again, learning about playing, drawing and painting for ages 5 to 12. Just so many. We can't get to all of the things that are listed here. And of course, the whole idea is you want to be an active community asset. You want the community. And in this case, you're located in Tunkhannock, but the community is our entire area.
Right, absolutely, yes. We know that people come from this area and from the
Luzerne County, I know you've got it, yep.
And Dallas area.
And it's been revitalized of the late by a lot of the natural gas, the fracking community there in the north. And look at the
Right.
downtown. It's incredible with Twiggs Cafe, which is a main player in the area. It's like Main Street USA all over again.
Absolutely. Tunkhannock's a wonderful place. We hear it all the time that it's sort of a unique place to come for a charming small-town
Sure.
experience.
Before we leave, very quickly then, since we can't get to all the events, how do they get this?
Okay.
So they can look at all the events?
All right, you can call our number, which is 570-996-1500, and we will send you one. We will also put you on the mailing list if you leave us your address. We are also on the internet, DietrichTheater.com. Dietrich spelled like Diet Rich and theater with an ER. And all of this information is also on our website.
Very good. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for joining
Margie.
us today and going over at least some of these wonderful events that are coming up. Rusty, thank you so much.
Let's go to one of these
you.
movies, Dave. I'll buy.
Sounds good to
Right?
me. Mark McGlory, thanks
Thanks,
for keeping
Mark.
us in focus. I'm David DeCosmo for ECTV Live. Till we see you again next week, here's hoping all your news is good.